that has been because of the situation with the Titan. My engine blew, and I didn't know if I was going to swap a new engine into it. I didn't know if I was going to go with a stock engine. Either way, there was a lot of planning that was going to take place. I was going to do a video about tearing down the old engine that blew. I'm still going to do that video. I didn't do it because I didn't have the facilities to do that then. I have it now, and instead of halfway focusing on that and halfway focusing on the situation with finding an engine, I decided to 100% focus on that, and now I'm going to get to that anyway. Anyway, that's all boring stuff, you don't care. I have an engine now. It just took a long time because I did not want to pay the $20,000 from Z1 Motorsports to get a new 5.0 Cummins, and I didn't want to pay from Nissan the $28,000. And I also it's difficult to find. And then also I was considering swapping it for a long time. And so I even almost went and bought a 5.9 Cummins a few times. There was a Duramax I almost bought at one point. Here is every single engine that I considered doing, like seriously. So some of these, like the Power Strokes, for example, I quickly realized why they wouldn't. Some of them I only considered for like 30 minutes. But some of them I considered all the way up till buying this engine that I bought yesterday. As for my old engine, a lot of you are not gonna like this, but kind of been sitting outside in the rain and everything. I know that's not great, but the thing is that I'm not really gonna be using anything off that. And if I do rebuild it, everything will get redone. And they're extremely complicated to rebuild. I don't know if I'm gonna rebuild it. So don't worry about that one. But I won't wait, I made you guys wait 2 months, so I'm not gonna make you wait any longer. I'm gonna show you what engine I went with. And some of you are gonna be happy about this. Some of you are not gonna be happy about this. And we'll see. But I went on ahead and went with a 5.0 Cummins. So yeah, I went with the stock engine. And that was because I was looking for the best deal. And the best deal I found, I got this for $6,500, and it has 61,000 miles. If you guys know 5.0 Cummins prices, that's a great deal. So one of the things that made it cheaper is there was a oil leak coming out of here, but this is the drain, which we pointed out in one of the last videos. So they assumed that there was an oil leak coming out of it, and Nissan said, well, no, the turbo is just leaking oil and oil's draining out. But they still wanted to replace it, so they kind of hit on it a bit, and there's a crack like right there. So that dropped the price down. It should run. The guy said he bought it 8 days ago, and that it ran maybe, 3 weeks before that, so like a month ago. It came into Nissan, the guy needed a new turbo, needed a new transmission, ended up getting a new engine too. They pulled this out. One of the managers bought it, sold it to me. So it hasn't been torn down. The valve covers were pulled off for Nissan inspection purposes. The dealer had to take pictures of them and note it and all that. So yeah, I have two 5.0s now. But a lot of you wanted the stock engine in the Titan again. So we're gonna be getting that, and it's gonna be pretty cool. But it's not going in completely stock. The tunes that I was running before were GDP tunes, which I can't really recommend anymore. So apparently, some people are tracing issues back to GDP tunes, and some people claim that this is the issue. I don't know if that's the case or not, but what I do know is that the shifting is really weird. It's like the torque converter feels, a lot of people say it's like the torque converter part of the tuning. It just feels really strange. I don't like the shifting, and apparently there's way better out there. So I'm working on that. It's kind of hard to get a hold of the company that's like the best for it. And so I'm working on doing a different tuning setup, but that'll be almost last. The other thing, I need a fast fuel system. I don't necessarily need it to get the truck running, but since the last engine blew, I want to give this one every opportunity to be healthy that I can. So fast fuel system will happen. Another thing is the intake manifold, which is in the shed in the backyard, so I'm not gonna go grab it. My intake manifold, which bolts in here, the big one that says Cummins on. Mine is kind of filthy. Since I did have my EGR for so long, it just gummed it all up in there and stuff. So I was like, okay, I want to get it cleaned out and stuff. But while I'm at it, thinking about getting it ported and polished. I'm not sure yet. I'll see what kind of the experts think of that. Other thing I want to do is on the turbo. So there are these things called wicked wheels. They're replacements for these stock turbo turbines. So I would really like to tear this turbo down a little bit more and put the wicked wheels in. There's no videos online that I can find of an example of what it sounds like with the wicked wheels, so that'll be cool. It'll be a YouTube first to kind of hear what they sound like. So my truck will not sound 100% like it did before whenever we fire it up for the first time. With those turbines, you get like increased throttle response and increased horsepower. I'm not sure if it's a lot, or if it's just like one of those things where you kind of have to pretend you're feeling the difference. Anyway, definitely gonna do those. Fast fuel system, intake porting, new tunes, and turbo. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. The other stuff that we're gonna do, the little nickel dime stuff we're gonna do, is I'm thinking about doing a new oil pan gasket, just because it's one of the easier gaskets to do, and may as well just to do any type of preventative leaks. And then also the oil drain plug needs to be replaced because it's so stripped from the previous owner doing their own oil changes for a while. Not sure what that's about. Also, look how cool this is. This is how, so this pallet is made for the 5.0 Cummins. And so, you know, whenever the dealer got the new engine in, they saved the pallet, took this one off, put it right onto here. So you can see like they have these little brackets that bolt up to the engine mounts. But I thought that was kind of cool. That's how it would be shipped if you ordered a new one. So yeah, the oil pan gasket and oil pan drain plug, might have to just get a whole new oil pan. We'll see about that. The other thing is the transmission. I realized it is leaking fluid, and I think that's just from me letting it sit on the ground the way I'm letting it sit and kind of moving it around. I'm not sure. So one thing that I read today is that the pan on the transmissions gets little dents in it from debris over time. These little dents can cause different routing of the fluid inside, if you will, and so that causes cooling issues. So it's good to replace your transmission pan every now and then, and this one's been sitting on the ground, so it's definitely getting replaced. So new transmission pan and gaskets with it, then all new fluid in it, obviously. That will be, so that long list, the fast fuel system, the tunes, the intake manifold, potential porting, but at least cleaning, the wicked wheels, and then all the little gaskets and pans and stuff, that will be everything that's going in, and new valve cover gaskets, because they're already loose, and I feel like I should probably do that. Outside of that, I think my injectors are good. They've been kind of just sitting here, which isn't probably the best. They're a little dirty. There's an injector rebuild service that I would consider. Probably like $1,000 for all of it. I assume that whenever we put the engine back in, the actuator will have to be recalibrated, which has nothing to do with tunes. It's like a thing, you take it to the dealer and they recalibrate it and stuff. Obviously my EGR is not going on. My delete parts are going on. And then as for this cool air intake, I'm gonna get a new filter for it, obviously, but I am gonna change the color. I'm kind of, the purple to me is like, that's what the last engine was. This new engine needs new color scheme. So I told my friend Josh that I was gonna match the color scheme of his engine bay, which is in a Miata. So it's gonna be a little weird that we're matching a Titan XD in a Miata, but he did like a blue and silver. So I'm thinking about doing everything in blue and silver. I don't think I'm gonna spend the money on powder coating. Since we're doing so much, I'm just gonna kind of do it myself. So that'll be kind of a fun process. I'm super excited. I'm also excited about the fact that it's a 61,000 mile, or 62, 61, 62, I can't remember. 1,000-mile engine. I have all the history and records of this. I have like a massive pamphlet somewhere. I don't know where I put it, but it's a massive pamphlet explaining all the stuff of whenever this came into Nissan. And so I know the guy wasn't lying. I'm thinking about getting a new flex plate because this one has some discoloration. I don't know if the camera's not really picking it up, but it just doesn't look great. And it also has some marks in it from when I was trying to get it off. So I don't know, I'll look up how much it costs. It's not something I'm necessarily dying to do. My transmission has a ton of dirt in it. I'm not sure how that really happened. Like when I pulled it off, it had all this dirt in it. It wasn't like you got in it just sitting there. So that's kind of weird, but we're gonna clean that up. Oh, sensors. So the boost pressure sensor, this is the pressure sensor that goes into the turbo to tell you your boost pressure, kind of straightforward. This one always kind of was a little finicky because I got a cheaper one. I'm gonna get nicer ones straight from Cummins. And then also on the intake manifold, there's the exhaust gas pressure sensor. I wanna redo that one too. So I could technically make this one big video of putting the transmission on the engine and all that and getting all the gaskets and stuff in, but I don't want to wait for those to come in, and I really wanted you guys to know that we have an engine and you know what it is. We're not doing a swap. The swap was tempting. I did so much research. I pretty much figured out how to do it. I didn't figure out all the engines that would fit. I figured out some, but you know, I got pretty far in that process too. So I just wanted to update you guys. That's all this video is. A lot of talking. So I hope you guys are happy I went with the 5.0. I hope you guys are excited to see the next video where we make that together and do a lot of cool stuff, and then potentially put it in the truck in the next video. And then as you guys can tell, another goal of this video was to let you know all the stuff planned, all the turbo stuff, the fuel system stuff. So if you guys wanted 5.0 content, and if you wanted Titan XD content, it's here. And I might still rebuild that old 5.0. I don't know. So that's everything I got for you guys. Sorry to make it not much of an action-packed video, just a talking video, but well, I didn't want to wait. I wanted y'all to see that it was here and that it's all happening. Another update is for the 240, and it's sitting out here because my dad's car sits on that side and I needed the space for the engine. So is for the 240. So the 240, the reason we never put the engine in was because I messed up. I got the wrong oil pan. So I got a oil pan where the tank is back there. It's supposed to be up there to fit in a 240. So I went on ahead and ordered the one that puts it up there. So that should be here pretty soon. So amongst all of this Titan content, there's gonna be like one 240 video about that. So comment below, tell me what you think about me going with the 5.0 Cummins instead of a swap. Even if your opinion is rude, let me know. I'm having trouble ending this video. I just keep going down more rabbit holes.